Good afternoon and welcome to the August 7th City of Coos Bay Parks Commission meeting. We will start with roll call.
Barb Shabothy,
Jared Schmidt,
Patty Scott,
Ariane Lyons,
Kurt Benward,
Jamie Faraday.
Greg Hamblin.
Christine Sylvester.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We do not appear to have any public comment, so we will skip that section. And we're rolling into our work session where we are discussing the Mingus Park restrooms. I'm going to turn this over to you, Greg.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for everybody for being here today. So this is a conversation to discuss the restroom on the pond side of Mingus Park. Right now, staff is actively working on the ball field side of the restroom, ball field restroom right now. Last week, I think it was, Kurt, that we went out for a check presentation from First Community Bank. They were nice enough to donate $1,000 for the cause. But today we're talking about the Mingus Park side or the pond side restroom. So just kind of a background, the city of Coos Bay was awarded $343,464 reimbursement grant through the Oregon Park and Recreation Department local government grant program to support the revitalization of the restroom facilities at Mingus Park. So at the time when we first presented this project to the grantor, to the commission, we proposed a fiberglass prefabricated restroom. That was the restroom we proposed to this project with. Back in when we first got the bid, it was about $160,000. When we got the quote, when we got the grant, we went to go make the order for the prefabricated restroom. The costs have gone up on that prefabricated restroom. It jumped from $250, $249 or whatever it was to $287,000. So that was an increase on that prefabricated restroom. You couple that with the fact that there was a $40,000 or $30,000 or $65,000, sorry about that, $65,000 cost to install the utilities. We had to pour the pad, city staff had to pour the pad, had to run the utilities to that. So it just kind of brought the overall cost into the $330,000 price range. So with that, staff started really looking at some alternatives. What can we do differently to preserve funds and still deliver a great product? And so staff started looking at options, and we found a CMU, which wall built pre-engineered building. CMU is a concrete masonry unit, block pre-designed restroom. And so we found this. The lead time on this restroom on the concrete masonry unit block wall is about $250,000, and that does include freight. The other big difference on that is that they pour the concrete pad. We have to run the utilities to within 10 feet of the structure, so we don't have to run it all the way into it. So we don't have the cost associated with the concrete pad. So there's about $30,000 cost savings on that as well. And so about $40,000 savings on the restroom itself, and then another $30,000 savings on the actual on the concrete pad. And so for staff, it was a win-win for us. That's why we're bringing it to the commission today. And so what we're looking for today is a consensus from the Parks Commission. Another detail I'd like to bring to the commission, let the commission know, is the lead time on the CMU wall is about CMU restroom is about 4 to 6 months from the time the purchase order is placed until the time the project is delivered. The fabricated restroom is 10 to 12 months. Now, it's still both of those aligned with the grant. The grant expires in December of 2026. So we still have plenty of time for either option. But lead time is shorter, costs are better. You know, just everything about it is a little bit better, going with the CMU wall, building. Now, one thing that staff is going to propose, if the commission recommends approval, and we go to council with this, staff is going to recommend or request that dollar difference between the prefabricated restroom and the concrete masonry unit block be used to purchase fixtures, spare fixtures. And another thing that we're gonna hope to do is standardize the fixtures between the two restrooms so that the fixture over in the Mingus ball field or the ball field side can be used on the pond side, and the pond side can be used. So if it does get damaged, we have spares, and we don't have a lead time waiting for them, and we don't have to try and figure out or have two on the shelf. We can have one on the shelf that can go for either restroom. That's one of the things that we're gonna propose, is that difference that we're saving between the two gets spent on buying spare fixtures that can be utilized in either restroom, have a standardization, and then have replacement fixtures on the shelf just in case, because inherently they're gonna go bad, or inherently they're gonna get damaged. I know these are penal grade fixtures, but nothing is proof. Everything is resistant, but nothing is proof. But that's what we're gonna propose to council if the commission recommends us moving forward with the CMU law.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And as we move forward with other restroom projects, standardizing is always great. Do we have any commissioner comments about the restrooms, Harv?
Yeah, I'm pretty supportive of what this move entails. When I was the chair down in Bandon and City Park, we were looking at a new restroom there. And this was the alternative approach we chose as well. Unfortunately, we didn't get the grant funding, and so it didn't go up. But in terms of what was on the market at that time, we thought that this was a more reasonable, I guess is the best word, reasonable way of going. And of course, cost was a part of our consideration.
I think it's very impressive problem solving and a great way to get a project done with escalating costs without having to either shelve it or not do something. So I think it's brilliant. And to plan for some deferred maintenance with that extra money, don't let them take it. It's our money to be spent at the park. So I think it's important that on that piece.
Yeah, I was gonna follow up as well about the proposed use for future, like, you know, hardware and everything. I think that's really insightful. And that standardization is gonna be vital going forward and just so much easier on everybody else, and not having to run down to hardware store and be like, oh, we gotta do purchase order and time. I think that's really, yeah, make sure you keep the money for that. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Great.
I think going to the alternative restroom is a good idea. I for some reason, fiberglass just had me a little bit worried, to tell you the truth. And with the cement block construction, I mean, everybody has familiarity with that. The baseball diamond one is like that. If something gets damaged, it almost seems like it's going to be easier to repair. So I'm supportive of it. I have questions. So anyways, I'm all in for saying, yeah, city council, this is a better deal. Go for it. And I think the idea of using the money for spare fixtures is a good one, if that money's available. And so here's some of my questions. Again, fully support it. That's where we ought to go. So get ready, Greg. You ready? I noticed that in their estimate of price, they said the purchase order had to be in by July 31st, 2025. And if it wasn't, they could change the cost. Have we had any discussion with them at all about whether the cost might change?
We absolutely have, yes. And they're holding their price with us.
Cool. And that holds true for the freight price too, because they said that was valid for only 30 days.
Correct.
Okay, cool. This is a minutia. I noticed in there the color that we picked for the building is gray. I really like the green color that you painted, the baseball diamond one, and I kind of thought it would be nice if they were both painted the same, but that's picky stuff. That's just me.
And that may be something that, you know, that color might not be available. Maybe that'd be something that we would have to go in and paint afterwards.
Okay. Are the doors on this restroom going to be lockable by park staff so somebody can't get in them?
Yeah, these are gonna be, yes, completely lockable and fully secure when we want them to be secured.
Okay, because when I looked at their specifics for the hardware they were gonna use on the door, I didn't see anything that kind of showed that it was gonna be something that you guys would be able to lock so that it wasn't available when the park was closed at night. But as long as that, if you feel comfortable with that, I'm feeling comfortable with that. Do any of these bathrooms ever have smoke alarms or anything installed in them? And is it worthwhile, or nobody hears it, so it doesn't matter?
Not typically, but I mean, if it's something that the building inspector or building code would require, we'll definitely include it. That would fall on the requirements of what the local or the state statutes say that it has to be in there.
Okay.
And typically, because of the moist environment, usually you don't see those because a lot of the smoke detectors tend to malfunction under extreme moisture. And because it's an outdoor, non-heated unit, they tend to malfunction.
Okay, cool. As I know they set fire to Dipsy dumpsters, and so I wasn't gonna be too surprised if somebody might decide they wanted to be warm and set fire to something inside of the restroom.
Yeah, usually it's the toilet so they can contain the fire.
I noticed the contract with the block building says they can make substitutions if something's not available. Is there some understanding that unless it's a specific item that's mentioned as, a specific type of toilet, for example, is it an understanding that they let the city know ahead of time that those substitutions are being made, or they just make them?
So this is gonna be our first time working with this particular company. But typical standard practice is that communications do happen prior to changes to the plans. So they'll submit a design set of plans to the city. We will approve them. And then any substitutions or anything like that would then have to be approved. Any deviation from those plans would have to be approved prior to those changes being made.
The way I read it is that they could make those changes without any prior approval from us.
So the city might not, but the planners and the plan checks, inspectors, those would all have to be approved.
Okay. The old bathrooms that are down there that are no longer bathrooms that we use for storage now and other stuff. Over the years, have they shown any kind of settling at all or anything?
Not that I'm aware of, none has been reported to me.
Good. So that's where we're building this one. We're pretty confident with the substrates. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see any issues. We just had a geotechnical investigation done through there, and we've just actually for the rewilding, we've looked at that site. The building next to it, we've seen no movement at all. So yeah, I'm not too terribly concerned about it.
Good. Okay. I noticed in there that they don't warranty the metal roofing. That the metal roofing company warrants it, but they say in their thing that if the metal roofing's not stored properly or is not installed within a certain time period, the warranty could be invalidated from the metal roofing company. And that Romec or whatever they are, they say that's not their problem. They're not going to guarantee that they do that. I just noticed that as a concern. I would hate to have metal roofing there that didn't have any warranty, but I don't know what you do with it. To tell you the truth.
That's pretty standard when it has a metal roof package, because if you leave it stored for an extended period of time, it is prone to rust and color deterioration. So that's kind of standard language that they include in there. So they don't want you buying one of these kits, letting it sit in your lot for 2 years and then installing it.
I guess my concern is that the company that's going to be installing the bathroom is not guaranteeing that they won't store them over the allowed time period or correctly. And if they don't, and the warranty is not valid, we're still the ones that are responsible for replacing them. So I get the thing about roofing companies want that to be standard, but I also get that these guys get themselves out of any liability at all by saying, that's not our job, even if they're the ones that have the roofing and are storing it. So, but the other thing that I noticed is it looks like the slab size is completely different between the two of them. Do we have any difficulty fitting it in the space that we want down there?
No, that, matter of fact, I think you referenced the day that you saw Lance and they out there. That's what we were measuring, was that slab size.
Okay, all right. And then, and I know it never freezes in Coos Bay, but occasionally it does. Is there any consideration as to that install down there about protecting it from freezing? The plumbing in particular.
The plumbing will all be penetrated through the floor.
Okay.
And so we would imagine it'll be inside the structure, so not too worried about the.
Okay, cool. And then I know it's Katie bar the door, and that's where it's gonna go down there, and I think that's fine. And like I said, I do think the alternative is a better one than the fiberglass one, but I have a question. The question I have is, and this is again, ignorance. Does the public have access to restrooms at the swimming pool?
I think the users of the restroom or the pool have that, but I think they open it up for certain events. I think for the music festival, I think people do, I think they commingle that. Right now, no, there are, porta restrooms down there that folks that use Mingus Park currently have use of porta restrooms
Is that gonna be a continuing case?
until the restrooms are built.
Okay. And I know there's not necessarily any, good place to build it up there, and I'm fine with where it's being built. And like I said, it's Katie barred the door already, but we've got both of the permanent restrooms in the south end of the library, south end of the park. You know, and when you look at that, it would have been nice if there was one in the north and one at the ballpark and the south. But I'm fine with where it's going. So again, hey, I think it's a great idea with the concrete block one. That's what you ought to pursue.
Thank you.
Jamie?
Is what's pictured what we're getting, you know?
I think it's similar to that. I don't think it has the windows
Mm.
top, and I don't think it has the skylights. We're gonna have the electrical run for it, so the interior lights. Let me see, I don't have the,
Was there consideration for natural light? In some way, whether the clear story or the roof lights?
I
guess.
don't think so. The reason I say that is because skylights are just another leak point that we typically
Mhm.
run into with the amount of rain.
Right.
And so it wasn't the consideration we had on the skylights and other restrooms that we've had in the systems that we've ended up removing just for that purpose because they do leak. And the maintenance on it was just so great.
And the gable lights? Would they be
There are exterior lights on
the gable windows?
so I don't think the gable windows are what we're pursuing, no.
I think those are screens.
There are vents on the back and front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gable vents. Yeah, I think that's what Yeah, I don't think they're windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the front is down a little bit further is the front view.
Okay.
Sorry, it's been a long time since I looked at these. I did put together a really nice presentation the other day, though.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments about the restroom? No. I think it's a great transition and a good movement forward. I like the CMU personally, since we already have that. And if this kit goes well, then we can look at it using it in other locations. And as we look at what we're going to do with the upper end of Mingus Park, the potential cleaning, the water drainage issues to stop so much going into the ponds, the disc golf, potential expansion of the disc golf. Perhaps there could be another restroom location as part of that conversation. All right. So I am hearing that we have a general consensus that everyone is happy with the transition, the pivot. And so you have your consensus,
Right, well, thank you very much.
right? Greg, do you have anything else that you would like to share with us today?
I would like to ask for upcoming Dog Days of Summer. We have an event. And that has been spearheaded. The inaugural was last year. Coco was very instrumental in that. But this year, I don't think Coco is going to be able to participate in that. And so I need to understand who, if any, from the Parks Commission, in the Adopt Park Pilot Program is going to be able to help assist or would be plan on being there at the Dog Days of Summer event next weekend.
I had planned to be there to assist Coco, the whole event. But in her absence, we were planning Carmen, Patrick, and with the help of Jennifer, we were going to get together and work out what we need to do, who the contacts are with Focus, etc., to get this done. I just now got a text from Coco. She's coming on Saturday. So that's good news. So we'll be in touch.
Okay, great.
So maybe we'll follow
Yes.
Yeah. And that is, in my understanding, okay, communication to communicate via email. So, because we're not making decisions, we're just coordinating existing things that have already been to sign it.
Yeah, for that particular event.
Yes. Oh, and then it's always okay to send out a reminder the day before of.
And then the hour before.
Yeah, massive group text messages. Okay. Anything else, Craig, you'd like to share?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Commissioner closing comments, Jamie?
I had a thought the other day running as on one of my circuits, which usually takes me through the parks, waterfront or Mingus. And I commonly see some of the workers out there doing their work. And has the Parks Commission ever had the input from the workers? Are they seasonal? Because I know we just have one full-time park worker.
Yeah, so we do hire temporary workers, not seasonal, temporary workers. They can stay with us for up to 6 months. So we do hire temporary workers though to help out in the parks. Obviously, we have 14 open spaces. We have a lot of grass to mow. We have a lot of facilities to maintain. We do have one permanent staff member to take care of the parks. So yeah, we do hire temporary workers to help with some of the activities that need to happen in the park.
I know that when I'm working in a position and somebody comes up to me and says, I really appreciate what you're doing here. And I try to do that with these workers because I see a few of them now and again, and I comment on their good work. And they appreciate that. And I was just wondering if it would be maybe for work sessions to get to invite out to any of the workers, maybe in series, just to, if they want to come, they can, and just ask them a simple question. What do you like about your job? What concerns you about your job? And any other things that you'd like to put out. Yeah.
That's not our goal. And we have nothing to do with personnel.
I understand that.
You get into union.
The staff is here as well, but we are the ones there. It's just a suggestion. I had no interest in making this something that we do, but I just was wondering if that's something that we could engage in. I mean, I've only seen one other person here, and that was Dave. Early on in my tenure here. Come to a meeting.
Yeah, Dave was part of the, the leadership staff.
Mhm.
What was it, maybe 5 or 6 months ago, maybe even longer, I can't remember. We realized we were pretty staff heavy at these meetings. And so I made a deal with Mr. Noel, Lance Noel, you know. I made a deal with Lance that I'll do the Parks Commissions and he can do the tree boards. And so, because we're going to so many meetings and so
Sure.
many things.
For sure.
But I do think that I think it's a good idea. And one thing that I do can do, and what I do, whenever there is a pat on the back or a kudos that goes out to staff about the great job that they did, or any kind of concern, even be it, a positive or a negative, I do relay that to staff. I do bring that to staff and just let them know, hey, last night at the council meeting, Carmen, Counselor Matthews said, he appreciated what staff was doing. So when I went to the next morning at our meeting, I just let them know that, this council recognizes what staff is doing, and I just wanted to pass that along to you guys. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely do that. I can definitely provide feedback from the commission to the staff. Another barrier to, I think, what you might be asking for is that their workday starts at 7 o'clock and they get done at 3:30. So we could definitely, if an invitation was sent out, we could definitely, if they wanted to come, we could definitely pay them overtime to come to this. If the invitation was
Or just
extended.
Just whatever information they have relayed through Lance or Scott or whoever.
We could definitely
Yeah.
gather that information.
Because when I was on the South Slough Commission, I mean, there were staff members that the commission would get reports from, whether it was the education staff, the research staff, the stewardship staff or coordinators. They would often present what they were doing in the field. We have no, other than being out there, seeing what they do. We don't have that information. And that would be helpful just to say, well, this staff member has always seen this problem in this part of the parks. And if we aren't getting that information through Lance or you, and it's going unseen.
Mhm.
Just an idea as I was on my weekly run.
Thanks, Jamie. Kurt?
I get the idea. I worry a little bit at your idea, Jamie. I think it's important that we maybe get as many different ideas submitted to us that where people think there may be something about a park that could be improved or done a little bit differently. But I worry about interjecting the Parks Commission between supervisors and managers of those people. So for me, the procedure wouldn't be have them come to the commission and talk. Me, as an example, when employees always left, we had exit interviews, and part of that exit interview was asking them about things they'd maybe like to see changed or that they thought were important that we look at. And so for me, it would be more the current supervisors of those individuals, say even when they're leaving, the temporary ones, do an exit interview and say, hey, you were working around the park. Did you see anything that we thought we might be able to do a little bit better? And then let permanent staff like Greg come to us and say, hey, here's some feedback I got from all of our temporary employees this summer about what might be important. And that way we don't get interjected directly between the staff that's supervising them and the workers. And so that's always for me, always been a problem when I was a manager. We have 2 aerators going.
Yeah, so
Hey,
good.
baby. Well, things are looking up. And the other thing, like Jamie, I kind of go up 10th Street a lot because I live up above the park. So I get an opportunity to see lots of things that are going on in the park. And I know already the park staff's involvement getting ready for the music tonight in Mingus Park at 7 o'clock. And I've seen them down there working and getting everything squared away. And I know it's an effort, and I just wanted to let you know I appreciate it. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Good.
I was just gonna say, thanks again for looking towards sustainability with the bathroom plans you put forward, Greg. I think that's a really great idea, and nothing wrong with a little standardization now and then with that, because that'll save time and stress.
That, I have nothing to add either. I'm still recovering from the farmer's market yesterday. We had 95 vendors. It was a
95 years.
amazing, but it was a good occasion. No, as far as the parks, I actually just in terms of Greg's work, excellent presentation on urban renewal projects to the city council the other night. Very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. The only comment I have is I've heard from several people, they appreciate all the efforts that are occurring down at the boardwalk, with the bush trimming and the cleaning up in general. They said that they'd feel much safer with those kind of shrubberies down and gone. It's a lot more visible. We have noticed that, there is less camping because those bushes are gone. So the people are seeing less activities, unwanted activities on the boardwalk, which is really nice to see. And it has been packed if you drive by, because we have so many tourists in town, although I feel the numbers are lower than they usually are. But it's a lot of activities out there in the park, and they're loving the Wednesday market. They're loving Mingus Park. They're loving our assets. So it's really nice to see, and good feedback from visitors and community members. So keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate that. You know, staff has been working very hard. This summer, we have been extremely busy. I would like to also just make sure that this commission understands that the brilliant idea of moving over towards the CMU wall was staff's efforts of guiding me in that direction. You know, I released them to do the investigation into this because, you know, I've got a lot of other stuff that I'm working on. They are working on a lot of other things as well. And so they brought this to my desk and I said, well, let's see if it pencils out and how it pencils out. And then let's just pull the trigger on it. So yeah, they came up with this great idea. I think we have a phenomenal staff down on the transportation facility side. They every day they are faced with a lot of variables. They shift gears a lot. This past weekend, we had the Big Kahuna event, and then we switched into the and then we switched into the National Nights Out. And then we have the other events that are happening, the art, the music in the park. We have all these things that are going, so we're constantly shifting gears. We're also responding to emergency events that happen overnight. You know, a tree fell down over the weekend. We were dealing with that this weekend. We also had a vessel down at the boardwalk that was taking on water. We responded to that. We had a sinkhole that happened the other night. We responded to that. And so we are constantly having to shift gears. And my staff on the transportation facility side, they continue to just amaze me every day about how they shift gears and the positive manner in which they look at their daily jobs and always looking at how can we do things better. I know for me, Kurt and I have talked about the aerators in the pond. That was a goal of mine when I first stepped into my role 4 years ago, was to get those back up and running. And now every time if there's an issue, they don't wait for a question to be asked. They see the issue and they start working on making the repairs. And so it's that proactiveness, it's that responsiveness of staff that just says, hey, this is the job, we've got to go get it done, which I think is amazing. So I appreciate everything that you guys have said about the staff. And I think that we have an amazing team that continues to do great things. And we couldn't do it without a lot of the suggestions from this recommending body to say, hey, go do this. And those recommendations we take and we go do it the best we can with the finances that we have and the abilities that we have. So thank you to you guys, and I will definitely pass along the appreciation of this commission to the staff in the morning.
Thank you so much. And so we are going to be adjourned 3:38. See you in 2 weeks.